September 15th Board of Trustees meeting. Let's start off by saying the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, well, it's my fine pleasure to introduce to everyone our new town attorney who was able to come to our meeting tonight in person. So we'd like to welcome Hillary Graham to our meeting. I did a little tour with Hillary earlier today, took her around town, showed her the town, and I let her back out at the hotel. Okay, but she wouldn't get the far and leave. And she's here, so we're good. We're very pleased to have you on board, Hillary. Thank you. All right, so we're gonna jump right into it. Stacy, did we have anybody ask for public comment?
We did not.
Jump into number three. Number three is town attorney report.
There we go. Does that work? Is that on?
Yeah, but these mics you have to eat for them. Yeah.
Can we put that thanks?
That's not what I was thinking of, but
All right, so let's start off at 9-1, approved meeting minutes from August 18th, regular meeting. Anybody see any additions, corrections? Minutes? You have, not so.
Yeah. I just had a burger and really outside of maybe typos or something like that, I didn't see anything.
Rory can't hear you.
I'll speak up.
Tom and Jared, you have anything?
No, sir, I do not.
Jared, how about you?
No.
I did not see anything myself either, so entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
So we've got a motion from Corey. Do I have a second?
Yes, sir, this is Tom, and I will second that motion.
Got a second from Tom to accept the minutes as they were written. All in favor, say aye.
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 So I'll be the first to admit that I am definitely not perfect. I actually missed putting on the minutes for our special meeting that we held in August. So that will be on the October meeting. Review those short minutes and approve that. So then on to 9-2, which it's right now. Discuss vote to approve September 25 disbursement. Let's start with the financials. Does anybody have anything on balance sheet or the budget versus actual? But we're okay with those. I'm gonna ask Stacy again on the let's see. On the disbursements for the ditch work and the street work. for installing the signs. Is that included on our streets budget? Is that taken out of there already?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, so it is in there, so it's reflected in there. And I do recall that the. Okay, let's see what it is. Recall from last meeting, we needed to do a resolution to increase the budget for streets. And then with this other invoice coming in, we better look at that and take care of that invoice, and then we still need to do a resolution, but we'll have to do that. It's the street budget. I believe we're okay on fixes. It's pretty, I think, the word. I believe it's the one for over the budget. Split off in 2 pages, that was so our budget was for. We call it, I believe it's 15,000, and our actual today is 23,000. So when we write that resolution, I'm gonna have the boards. You agree, make it $5,000 budget. Just in case you have anything else. Coming in between now.
Yeah, that's fine. Doesn't necessarily mean we spend it.
Correct. Just to give us a little bit of additional cushion, so we don't. Have to do it over something. Okay, so. Everybody's okay with finances? Okay, still looking, Tom?
No, I'm kind of done looking.
Then how about disbursement? Questions on disbursement?
Well, we got there too. Says, the check to Chad was for Ditchford earlier in the season.
So I saw that invoice when it came in, and I talked to Jesse about it. I see he's online, he may want to talk to him, but the ditch work was, excuse me, cleaning ditches was back in May. And Jesse does have each of these hours were documented on the dates. So the ditches were back in May, and then install the new signs for the Bobcat. That is in addition to building and installing the 2 radar signs, because we did move one of the one sign that was over by around 10 State Street. We moved that over to River Street by, I'll say by Molly's house, so I think it makes more sense. And then there were also some signs on that road where actually for incoming traffic, we're on the wrong side of the road. So we moved those to the correct side of the road as well.
Okay.
So that was in addition to building the sign. That was.
Okay, that's what I was looking at. I was just trying to follow what the install new signs were. Build, install speed of our signs. Okay.
Totally understand to the same questions.
After 20 years of upping the ante, only to watch riders completed even faster than they did the month before. Carl and finally.
Tom and Jerry, any questions?
I do not have any.
Jared?
I don't have any questions, but can you folks all speak close to the microphone, please? It's a little garbled at times and not very loud at times, please.
All right, we do our best. I'm having a mic for dinner.
You're at least where I'm sitting here, you're cutting out some, Ed. Stacy, I hear very well.
Yay.
I myself don't have any other questions on this first one. If everybody's okay, I'll entertain a motion on this first one. Is that what?
Yeah, this is Tom. I'll move that we accept the disbursements as we have been presented.
This is Jara, and I'll second it.
So we have a motion and a second to accept the disbursements as presented. All in favor, say aye.
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 Then. Then we move on to 9-3, which is discussed with possible action. Snow removal proposal for the 2025-26 season and the posting of snow plowing request for proposal. So back at the tail end of August, as per our snow plowing procedure, I guess we have outlined. I got with Jesse, our street commissioner, looked at the roads that we have plowed in the past and added to those roads several more blocks, and then posted that route with the map and a text version of the roads that we would snowplow over at the post office. And I believe, Jesse will correct me if I'm wrong, there was one route that was not on the text. It was on the map, but it was not on the text. And I can't even tell you now which one it was. I believe it was Aspen Lane, Second Street, Fifth Street. I did a revision of that, put it over at the post office to include the property owners on that street had asked for that. What Jesse and I, when we looked at it, what we tried to do was take into account, as per our snow removal policy, that we would be able to provide emergency services to the homes in Pitkin. So with the routes that we have that are snow plowed, we could get an ambulance, we could get fire trucks, and then people could access their home. I think we talked about at the last meeting that everybody pays property taxes, so we shouldn't discount some people because they don't come up with the winter. They might need fire protection. So we did increase the number of roads that are plowed from last year to this year with a total of 8 blocks that we increased by. And talking to Phil Deutsch, who's been doing our snow plowing, he didn't see it as a significant increase because instead of deadheading some of these streets, going plowing up to them, turn around and go back, you could go right on through the street. In a lot of cases, that was easier to do. It would be easier than plowing in, turn around and coming back. So hopefully everybody has seen the list and the map over at the post office or online. So is there any discussion the board would like to have about the snow plowing proposal?
I'll say the only thing I talked to somebody yesterday regarding the snow plowing, and I think by and far it's pretty popular that we just provide snow plowing basically every address. There was a concern raised that some of these alleys, it's more of a just notifying the contractor to make sure we're not pushing snow on the people's property where there's potential for it damages a fence or something like that, if that makes sense. the way to account for it, or like whenever the contractor bids this, at least maybe before snow plowing starts, so we kind of put it down and to have a plan. You know, we're not pushing, you know, potentially feet of snow against somebody's property or against their fence, you know. I know there's certain locations like, I mean, use my example, they come down Quartz Lane and bullet on my streets. Doesn't harm a thing, but there's certain places where the fences are built close and we don't wanna cause harm to them. So that was just only concern that somebody had raised, with just to make sure that whoever wins the bid is aware that, you know, has a plan to, if we have one of these, you know, 200-inch plus snow years that. Yeah, please, that, you know, don't have something. I guess.
Okay, I think that's valuable, particularly on a lot of our lanes. Really, 15 feet in most cases, so. I think it's a good walkthrough with.
Yeah.
I think that's good enough.
Yeah, and I know obviously, if forestry company Bill Doris, who they contracted, obviously very familiar with town, but it was just, like I said, it was a concern raised that, you know, whoever the bid goes to, that maybe it doesn't hurt to do a walkthrough before the snow flies and just have a where potentially feet of snow go.
Probably gonna leave that up to our street commissioner to do that. And I hope he can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you. And I'd like to add 2 cents right here. I don't see on the agenda where you're going to put that snow, the commercial snow plowing out for bids, and we're running out of time.
Okay, so it's under 9-3, Jesse, under posting of snow plowing request for proposal.
Okay. Maybe I'm corrected then. Thank you. Glad you're taking care of me. I'll let Jared have it back.
All right, any other comments from the board? I'm gonna open up to public comments here in just a second. All right, the board doesn't have any more comments, so I'll open it up if there's any public comments. Mr. Olson.
Pete Olson, just a comment about the map. Upstream of 8th Street, it appears to show plowing of the River Street platted right away, which is virtually impossible. I'm assuming it's intended to follow River Trail. Then from the end of River Trail, it appears to show connection via 11th Street to State Street, which is not possible. So just that comment, I think that should be straightened out.
I see what you're talking about. Yeah, that's interesting. That's good call out.
I think it's.
Yeah, so right here should be following this river trail here. And obviously across because this is where my house is.
Yeah.
Across right there.
So
Whatever. Yeah, following.
follow there, then.
Yeah, we're Mesa.
Yeah.
Good catch. I don't think the contractor would probably drive down.
Probably. That was the challenge of taking the zoning map and trying to put lines on top. I'd actually put the text of the streets on there and they would not. Good catch. All right, any other public comments? I'll bring it back to the board.
Well, okay, so if we're omitting 8th to 11th up there, that's like 3 blocks.
Well, it's not necessarily eliminating, but.
Please speak into the microphones. Thank you.
So we still do.
We're still running about 8 blocks more than last year.
Yeah. the number of blocks is 8 more than was last year.
Could someone repeat? I'm not sure I heard Pete correctly. I didn't quite catch everything he was saying, like the names of the streets.
So, can you hear me, Jessica, Jared?
Yes.
Okay, so the way it's currently shown in blue on the map is going down River Street and continues down River Street and then goes, say, north up 11th Street. Well, that last block, actually 2 blocks of River Street is really through the creek. So that blue line should come down and come through River Trail to up to 11th Street and then dead end there. And then the map would still be correct from State on 11th Street, basically down to Corey and Stephanie's house. But River Trail should be in the blue rather than down what's platted as River Street down in the creek.
Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman,
Jesse,
River Trail does not show up on this map because it's platted as though Pitkin is a flat piece of ground, and it is not. So you've got to realize that River Trail comes right off of River Street going to the right as it goes towards Powder House.
correct.
So maybe a technicality it's not printed right, but in reality, it is River Trail that's marked.
And so on the map, Jesse, the River Trail is a light blue line and then it turns, goes up Powder House. So I'll just adjust that blue line to go down River Trail.
Okay, I'm happy if you're happy. Wish I were there so I could really see exactly where you're pinpointing.
Okay. I've got technology, I just will use it. I don't know if the other end will, but.
So essentially, all we need to do is just correct the map before we issue
Yeah.
the request for proposal.
Yeah, the verbiage would still be correct. And the way, I looked at the RFP for last year, and it was stated as this is what it would possibly look like for the contract. We could write the verbiage, I think, the same way, similar way. But the map's easy to correct. All right, so if there's no more questions, do I have a motion to put our 2025-26 snow plowing proposal out for a request for RFP request for proposal? So we can get it in the newspaper, get some feedback before October.
Okay. It is time, gentlemen, ladies, to get this moving so that we have time to get requests out there and back when people have time to think about it. And so we need to get that done. So I would make a motion that we post for RFPs.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, so we've got a motion from Tom, a second from Corey. Go ahead and post for snow plowing request for proposal. All in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, so Stacy, one thing I'm gonna ask is this is high priority. That we get the proposal written and then to the newspaper, so it runs in next Thursday's newspaper.
Will do.
And then we'll need to hopefully we'll get some bids back so that this will be on the October agenda. Snow could fly by the end of October.
Could we include in our proposal verbiage that at such time as a bid is approved, that we would like for that in before the snow hits, so we get flagged out?
Oh, absolutely. To Corey's point. Yeah, yes. All right, so we will put that out in the newspaper. Get it posted. Hopefully get some bids back. All right. On to, let's see, an update on OWTS inspection. As per our ordinance, today was the last date to get the OWTS inspections in. However, not everybody was sent a letter back on April 1st that should have gotten the inspection, so we had a second letter go out to notify residents of the inspections on June 27th, I believe is when that letter went out. So to date, I do have at least one more update that just came in this afternoon that's not on the sheet. But I'm gonna do a quick run through of those that we've not heard from. There's been some that I have heard. I have heard from some of these people, and I'll tell you what I know. The first one at the top of the list is Dan Hoffelder. My understanding is he has been going through some cancer treatments. He is planning on being back here in Pitkin September 22nd and intends to address his inspection then. The next one on the list is Rand Mikowski. I've not heard from Rand one way or the other. I've not heard anything about him. And it's possible that it was sent in and we haven't received it yet. Third one on the list is Sterling Padilla up on 730 Aspen. I texted Sterling the other day. We not heard anything from him. He took off for Greece in end of June or early July. Is still there. He was sent the letter June 27th. So he probably has, well, he told me he's not seen the letter. But he said that he would, when he got back, we're not gonna be back until November. He tried to get that inspection done, concerned on who's gonna be able to get to the tanks in November. I've not heard anything about David Wilcox on 110 Courts Lane. What's that? And then Tickers was actually not sent a letter, and that we can hold this for October. But their system was put in 17. I don't know for sure when their house was finalized. So. Not heard anything from Chapman's that I'm aware of from 512 Courts. Rick Jones. Rick Jones does not have a P.O. box. Has apparently just recently got rid of the P.O. box within the last 6 months. That's where it was sent. He did not pick up the letter at the post office. My understanding is he does pick up some mail there when it's laid out for him, but he did not pick up either letter of the certified letter or the letter we sent out to him. So not sure how we're going to address notifying him. Rob Allred has an inspection scheduled, I believe, for tomorrow. Curry Living Trust, not heard anything from that one that I'm aware of. Oops, I don't know. More on 713 State Street. I've not heard anything from them.
I just got that. Yes.
More 713 State.
Yes.
It's to the list. Last name is Curry.
Curry. Yeah. Okay. And then, have you received anything from Jim Sharples?
No.
Because I know Kurt was there last week.
Yeah.
So I would expect that one should be coming in. And then Ken Ramsey. We just received that one in an email.
Yep.
Yesterday or today. And the last one is Sean Butler, who did not have the inspection done last year and were sent 2 letters this year. So.
And I think you might have skipped on there. There's one that says, yes.
Oh. And 104 State. And that's a holding tank. So we need records of when it's been pumped. The last time it was pumped was 2017. I would presume if they've been here long. Something.
It's 201 first. That's the holding thing.
104 State.
Okay. Wow.
So I guess, I mean, that's kind of the update on at least what I know of them and what we've received. My personal feeling is that since we have some of the letters go out until June 27th, that maybe we address this in our October meeting. We've not received them back. What are your thoughts?
Well, I would say we've had pretty good success here with.
For the most part,
yeah.
pretty pleased.
And so I would not be opposed to shoving it till October and reevaluate.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to that. It looks like we've had 5, maybe 6. I got all of my count here. They have had no response. They've been sent letters, no response, nothing in the works. I mean, I'm with them understanding to a degree that, you know, some people either have plans or it's going to get taken care of. I'm fine with, you know, rediscussing this in October, but I'd like to have a game plan of if some of these people that have been no response for a while continue to be no response, what is the process there? And this just gets back to, we are the Environmental Board of Health. There is a state statute for this. And so we sat in a meeting, probably my first meeting this year that I was on the board. We all agreed we're going to enforce ordinances. I mean, especially this one, since this is a state regulation. So I want to come to the meeting with a plan of, okay, if we continue to get no responses, what is the next?
So I'm going to ask our new town attorney, since we do have an OWTS ordinance that does address it, and you've probably not seen it. And so we could send that ordinance to you, and then in October, and maybe we want to respond prior to the October meeting, but as to what we can do. I know right off the bat, the ordinance states there's a $500 fine if the inspections are not completed by September 15th. But I prefer to have you review that ordinance and then tell us what we're allowed to do and how we can go about it.
Sure.
You have to pretty much speak like right.
Okay, so, Mr. Mayor,
Sir.
so I don't want to overload our attorney right off the bat, but we've only got 5 or 6 ordinances. And I'm thinking we should just go ahead and let her take a look at all of them, and she can evaluate them and let us know what applies and what doesn't, how it might fly, how we might do better.
You'd be surprised, it's not just a.
Yeah,
There's kind of this with every resolution ordinance this in town, it's sizable stuff. I would say, let's be a little more specific versus all of them, because if she goes through all of them, she'll be
Okay.
way over hours.
How many ordinances do we have?
I have a disc that has like, I don't know, 40, 50, 60.
Since forever.
Yeah, ordinances and resolutions. One of them was going back to if you didn't have a beard, you had to go jump in the creek.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm serious.
We might want to renew that. Well, so the point is that we're dragging baggage, and verbiage and some of this stuff's probably not good either. So at some point, besides this OWTS ordinance, we're gonna need some help with some of the rest of these. Maybe not all at once, but
And it may be the case possibly where the questions come up, that we can send the ordinance or then.
Yeah.
Possibly address it.
My concern with some of this is there's some people on the list that have had plenty of notice or should have multiple certified letters and have not responded. And so, fine to have some leeway here, because I know life gets in the way. And it does say September 15th, but there's some people that have not acted in good faith. At least you've had conversations with the majority of these people and they have a plan to get it taken care of. But there's a few people on the list that I don't see changing by October.
Unfortunately. Stay with inspection. Some type. Stay. June 27th. Yeah. I've had that. Come back and look at it.
well, as I was saying about, so looking down through this list, we've got 13, 14, looks like we've got 5 or 6 that are actually going to get the bases covered. With the sponsors. They're just other issues, so I think that's good.
Okay. So it will be on the October agenda. That we will address it then, and then our attorney will give us some insight as to what we can and can't do based on our work. All right, there's nothing we need to take action on. Everybody's okay with that?
Yes, sir.
Jerry, you okay with that?
Yes, sir.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
All right, then moving on to 9-5, the introduction of the 2022 zoning code update. The recommendations for the zoning board of adjustments. That was emailed out to everyone, and that file, if you've looked at that file, has some color coding to it. It has some yellows and some greens on that file, or on the text. And the yellows and greens are any sections that were changed, modified. In some cases, it was actually discussed multiple times by the zoning board. Trying to get to if I give you some examples. In the green, as it gives when it was approved by the zoning board or re-voted on by the zoning board. And the vote was when it was approved, with the changes being in yellow. So we also have not only the zoning code, but we have other codes we talked about in the past. We're gonna have to address in the upcoming months, like the energy code, the OWTS updates, the wildfire resiliency code, some of those might be pulled into the zoning code, but I'm gonna defer to our new town attorney, say if those should be put in the zoning code, or if they should stand on their own ordinance, in case we need to change any of those, so if I can put it on the spot.
Yeah, sure. Typically, when I revise a zoning code or draft a zoning code, it's limited to zoning. Building codes, which are adopted by reference, can be done by separate ordinance. They are related, but they can stand on their own. It's really just a preference. The adoption by reference of the outside codes has to follow a specific statutory process anyway, so it may make sense for those to go separate.
So if I understand that, what you said properly, we would do the energy code, the OWTS updates, and the wildfire resiliency code, and even possibly the 2018 building code as separate to the zoning code.
Correct, and they could be heard at the same time. They could be prepared and, yeah, handled at the same meeting. But there are some preliminary steps for adopting building codes and such by reference that would have to happen before you could adopt the codes by reference. So we would just have to back up and make sure that all happens so that they're ready to go at the same time.
So these were my thoughts, is that we've got the zoning code with recommendations from the zoning board, but we also have to go through each one of the energy code, the WTS and wildfire resiliency codes. So the building code is critical that we adopt actually all four of these before June 1st of next year. And probably would be good to adopt the zoning code at the same time. So the intent tonight was to just put the zoning code revisions out there so you can start looking at them. I'm kind of jumping ahead even on the agenda here, but we may need to set up some work sessions for the individual codes as we go through them. And I'm going to speak out loud here, just thinking out loud, is that perhaps we go through the energy code, OWTS updates, wildfire resiliency code, and then work on the zoning code at the last.
I think that's fair.
I think it is too, because you're liable to run into some stuff in these other things. Bleed over it, or at least, you know.
Okay. That's my. Jared, have any thoughts?
No, with these new things we've got to implement, I can see where we need to put it off. So many people for so long have worked on the zoning code that we and probably with some attorney input, we might be able to wrap it up in a few months, huh?
That's the hope. So, and that's part of the reason of throwing the zoning code out there now, the updates out there now. So everybody can look at it. It'll give Hillary a little bit of time to review it as well and make some recommendations on it as we go forward.
That sounds good to me.
All right. Do we have any public comments on it? Thoughts? Okay, so we're okay to put it, I'm gonna put it under the updates plan, but we get down to that later on tonight. We're gonna set some dates for the start on workshops for at least one. All right, so we really don't have any action to take on that tonight then. So it takes me then to 9-6, review and discuss with possible action. The committee reports findings on the Schellenberg request for regarding the vacating 12th Street between Block 2 and Block 4, the alley of Block 4, alley of Block 2, Mesa Street between Block 3 and Block 4 and Block 2. I don't have the exact date that the committee met on this on the top of my head. But we formed the committee at the last, I don't know if it was the last board of trustee meeting or the one before, I don't remember. I think it was the last one. And the committee, which comprised of Jake Schellenberg, the property owner, Pete Olson, Tom Gibb, myself. Am I missing anybody? And Jesse Garrison. Thank you. I've been racking my brain all up. We met, had a very good discussion about the vacation request. And after a little bit of arm twisting, I got Pete to agree to draft up the comments, and I thank him greatly for that. Basically what we discussed in that committee and the findings. So I'm going to run through them fairly quick. We went through all of the public comments and concerns that were brought up in our public comments and tried to address those by each individual as a committee. And this is kind of a summary then of some of those comments. Proposed vacation will benefit the community by contributing to positive growth if done properly. There was the tree removal on River Trail and switchback traffic movement onto Mason Street. There was a flood map question. FEMA flood insurance rate map includes mapping of flood prone areas at the lower end of town and does not include the proposed development area. It was brought up the Colorado Geological Survey may be able to complete a landslide avalanche hazard study upon request for a fee, and who pays for that would still need to be determined. Any formal action on the vacation request should be deferred until the town has an attorney, which we have now. And the attorney then can advise the town council if there's any town liability if development is approved and future problems arise. There was numerous comments about bridge access and interior streets, resulted in the subcommittee consensus that a planned unit development approach be utilized with the owners of the property in the development being responsible for construction, the operation, snow removal, and maintenance of roads and bridges. The developer would prepare the legal framework for the development. The town would not then be responsible for any of the development costs. With a planned unit development approach, access from the development to River Trail would then be restricted by a locked gate accessible for use by landowners and the Pitkin Volunteer Fire Department. The developer would make provisions to reestablish the walking snowmobile trail up to the campground. Comments related to the property value should be reviewed by the council with the attorney. So then, under bullet 2, the subcommittee suggests that, subject to legal counsel input, the town council should determine if, in fact, the town intends to grant ownership of the subject street and alley rights of way to Schellenberg, either through the sale or outright vacation. Number 3, if the council agrees to grant ownership to Schellenberg prior to legal transfer of property, certain conditions should be satisfied, such as engineer certification that OWTS systems can be constructed in the development area, certification that water well installation is possible, Corps of Engineers approval of 12th Street crossing of Court Street, and then the other is an avalanche landslide hazard GCA easements. And then attorneys for the town and the developer shall approve a legal agreement, cover transfer conditions, and provide for periodic review of progress on development. Number 4, the subcommittee agrees that the approach affords the developer flexibility in lot and road design, does not add to the town's cost for road and bridge maintenance or snow removal. Number 5, future applicants for street and alley vacation may argue that the decision on the Schellenberg request sets a precedent. Note that there are specific conditions on approval of this request, which indicates future requests may be considered similar. So that is the meeting that we had as a committee, and what the 5 of us, actually 4, I think Tom had another engagement, not me, so the 4 of us had discussed. Keep in mind that, again, the committee members that were there were Pete Olson, myself, Jesse Garrison, and Jake Schellenberg. I think Pete and Jesse would agree that we felt like the meeting went very well. And it seemed to resolve some of the concerns that were brought up in public comment. So now, showing or telling you what the subcommittee did, where do we need to go? What do we need to do?
Well, I suppose the inclination of the board to this report from the committee needs to be stated or discussed. As you said, while I was appointed to be on it, I did not make it. I enjoyed reading this. There are things on here that I never thought of. It looks to me like, and this is not my purview at all, but it looks to me like we have, with the 4 that were there, covered everything that I would have thought of, although I'm sure that in the working out of the details of several of these items, that multiple, at least 2 attorneys will be engaged in this. Mr. Schellenberg's, no doubt, and ours. Hillary, did you get a copy of this draft? I've got that on my computer. So the part that I was pleased with, aside from all of the details that it takes to bring it to this point, is that this is the project, this planned urban development. I understand those a little bit, and basically the responsibility falls on the developer, and then after that upon the homeowners to maintain and keep up their roads and take care of the snow plowing. And you know, this year we upped our snow plowing by 8 blocks, and we have over the past few years, snow plowing has gone from being a real problem. We're upping our ante every year a little bit, and I think this year is going to be probably one of our best, unless we have some horrific winter. But not knowing what the configuration of roads and such on the other side of the creek is going to look like, why snow plowing is very expensive, and that and road maintenance, especially on new road development, are 2 things that I just assume not see the town have to take on. So I am, I would say that I'm in favor of most everything that was read here in this draft from our committee. So I would be in favor of letting Mr. Schellenberg give it a shot if we can come up with the right.
I guess really all I would add is I trying to wrap my head around the process of what are our next steps. I think obviously the biggest thing is having our new attorney review. It'd be nice to kind of have a little bit of a roadmap of, okay, here's the legal process. And then where did some of these other things fall into place along the legal process? Like on number 3, there's some things that were kind of contingent on, if the council agrees to grant ownership, X amount of these things need to be done. Well, obviously those cost money. And so there needs to be a certain process for, okay, we agree to move forward. Here's the roadmap. And we're saying that, yes, we will do a contingent. I'm just trying to wrap my head around what this process looks like. What is our next step? And I think at this point, like we've hashed out several times, if we need an attorney to review it, it'd be nice to have a little bit of advice on what is our next steps. And I'm not putting you on the spot.
Yeah, no, I don't, I don't have that advice right now, but the zoning ordinance that's being considered for amendment, does that contemplate PUD zoning? Is that a zone?
That there's any reference to it.
There's no reference in 2022 zoning code.
That would be a good thing to add. If the desire is to eventually zone this property PUD, there would need to be a mechanism to do that. So that would be something to consider adding.
That's why we said. So would it be possible that you could give us some advice or the next steps of where we need to go?
Yeah, definitely. And I can propose PUD language for the zoning ordinance as well. But the ability to zone to PUD is gonna have to be in place before any property could be zoned that, so that's kind of a first step. Which might accelerate the timing of the zoning code, yeah.
But we need to start there, but I don't wanna start there and say, well, we'll worry about this after we get that done. So with what the committee came up with, could you look at that and then give us some direction on some of it?
Definitely.
As to where, if we can't, what we can and what we can't do. I mean, one of the things that comes to mind for me right away when we start looking at the street vacation, either through sale or outright vacation, how do we determine what might be able to be a outright vacation on some of the streets? What might be through a sale? So if that's even possible to do it, some is one way and others another way. Determining what some of that property is worth.
Yeah, I think there are a couple of decision points that I think we need to get clear on before we know what the path is going to be. For instance, is the board comfortable with vacation? Vacation is not the same as sale. If the town wants to sell, then that does trigger the election requirement. But vacating would not. So vacating would vest the property in the adjoining property owner. So I imagine that's Schellenberg. So that could happen without a vote. If they're desired to sell it, then a vote is required. A vote of the people. So they're kind of a few decision points, I would say. But
And that's what I was hoping you could kind of review and go, okay, to move forward, or the board has to make a decision, A or B.
right, and if A, then yeah,
So,
yeah.
and then I think the next steps, saying, what like that, I think. To one's election based, and one was based on the vote of the board. So I think that would help define our roadmap is say legally, here are your decision points you need to make. And then I think that'll be.
So I'm thinking the next step. Ask Hillary's help.
Yes.
It's on. Giving us a roadmap. Jared, do you have any other comments or thoughts?
Not really. My questions have already been asked. So, and I too wanted to thank the committee from the draft that was sent to us from that meeting. The outcome of that meeting was helpful. And so thank you to those that volunteered their time.
Taking actions, so we.
No, I don't think so. We'll wait to hear an RFP for it.
Yeah.
Well, we've got, this is Tom. We've got an election coming up in what, 6 months? And I'm sure that things would like to get moving before that, but in the event that we did have to go to an election or put on the ballot, a sale, but you know, at least it's not a year and a half away. And pulling up a special election is kind of expensive, so 6 months might not be outside of a reasonable time frame, depending on how fast this thing rolls.
Yeah, I think you have some public comments.
All right, let's open it up for public comments. Come on up, Susie. Speak loud.
Okay, thanks. What I wanted to ask is, it seemed like we had another incidence of somebody requesting, it was maybe Fred and Alicia Archuleta, who were requesting a vacation, and were denied it. So I just wanted to bring that into the picture, just to muddy it up and make it more interesting. But yeah, that's all.
I just want to clarify something. Well, since you're. Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Who am I got it now, right? Alicia Archuleta, I have a question for you. So you're telling us that a vacation does not need a vote from the whole town, but the selling of a street does. Is that what you said?
That is what I said.
So I did this a couple of years ago, this research. And does the town own a full sale title to the road, or just a title to take care of the road?
The town on platted right of way, the town is the fee owner. So the town owns the full fee estate of the right of way.
But only as a road, is that correct?
It owns the property.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's dedicated for public use.
Or road,
Yes,
only a road.
yes.
No. Yeah. It's only a road,
Platted right of way, yeah, it's
Yeah.
platted, so,
not for a road.
but it can be vacated. And in which case, the ownership goes to the adjoining property owners. Yes,
Right, if you vacate it, then it becomes property that could be used differently than a road.
correct.
She does.
Yeah, but we're not doing my case, so we're not gonna talk about it. I'm just trying to clarify some things. I guess my research, ma'am, is that they didn't have a real title on the road to sell. They have a title on the road for it to be a road only. So, selling the road, just the laws.
No, I agree that there's some ambiguity there. So vacation of roadways. This is probably more than anybody cares for, but vacation of roadways is covered in Title 43. There is a provision in Title 31 related to the sale of public property. So it's not a great fit to put public right of way under the Title 31 provisions, but the Title 31 provisions say that any property that is used for, let me get the language, used or held for any governmental purpose, which a road would be, in my estimation. It may be sold and disposed of only upon a vote of the people. So it's a little bit, we're kind of taking pieces of Title 43 and pieces of Title 31 and coming to some kind of conclusion where it's not totally clear. What is clear is that vacating right of way doesn't typically amount to the sale of the property. Typically, vacating right of way is free.
I mean, they end up paying property tax on it after they get it.
Right, it's not usually done as a sale. I saw there was a proposal in the state legislature to allow for the compensation, so the kind of situation that we're talking about, where the municipality would be compensated for vacating. And that didn't go anywhere, which doesn't really mean anything. The state legislature does and doesn't do all sorts of things, but as of now, that's not part of the statute.
So they don't. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
We have a hand up online.
Pete go.
Okay.
Let Pete go and then we'll do it online.
Okay.
Well, to clarify this discussion just held with Mr. Archuleta, I think the attorney needs to be aware that a couple of years ago, the town council did adopt a policy that she should include in her review. I don't know if you're aware of that, ma'am, but and it specifically implies that it's the intent of the town to obtain fair compensation for any disposal of public rights of way. So I think we'll need to, I'll be sure you have that in your list of things to fund.
Yeah, that would be helpful, although I don't know that the town can create that by policy.
Well,
I don't doubt you that the policy exists.
yeah, well, yeah.
What I don't know is whether a statutory town can declare that it shall be compensated for vacated right of way, and that would be binding, but I will look into it.
All right.
Got a hand up online.
Oh, online. Who is it online?
All right, we've got Roger and Lucinda Lowell. You guys can go ahead and
Question, probably for the attorney, and the guys that sit on this board. I was wondering, since this is a new subdivision, basically we're gonna vacate roads, streets, alleys, rivers, whatever's down there, let them start over again. We do not in our zoning, probably in the building codes either, have any provisions for subdivisions within the town. Does that fall back on the subdivision laws that are established by Gunnison County or the state of Colorado?
Can you repeat what he said?
Yeah, I can. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have a sound.
Okay, so the question was whether the town needs its own subdivision ordinance in order to subdivide property, or whether that would default to the county or state law. And the answer that I'm going to give now, subject to some additional clarification, is that there are probably statutory subdivision regulations that would apply, even though the town doesn't have their own. It would not be the county, though. So it would be statute, or the town needs to adopt its own.
If I incorrect that, it's kind of regarding that be certain plan. It is a
Similar, so subdivision is different from PUD. So PUD is a type of zoning, but
I think your mic might have gotten turned off.
it's on.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear that. Now. I'm sorry. We weren't hearing.
That's okay.
Sorry. Thank you.
No, it's okay. So subdivision of property is, there are probably statutory provisions that apply. Zoning, however, the town has to enact its own zoning designations. There's no sort of default zoning that would apply. And PUD zoning is a type of zoning that the town would have to authorize and create.
All right, any other public comment? Further questions from the board?
Nope.
You're making a lot of notes, so. I do have a question. Come on up. Come on.
Okay, the question that I have is the proposed,
Yes, a little bit.
proposed subdivision. Sounds to me like it's gonna be a gated community. And it's gonna be taken care of by themselves. So how is it gonna be still part of Pitkin or not part of Pitkin? I'm just curious. How all that's gonna work out.
So I understand. Correct. Is that it would still be part of the town. It's a planned for development or its own. I don't want to call it an own HOA, but its own development where those property owners, after the roads put in by the developer, are then taken care of by the property. And when it's a planned urban development, there was a lot of concern in our public comments about traffic going down River Trail being so narrow on down through River. But when it's a planned urban development, then that road, which whatever might be called Mesa at that point, I'm not sure where it comes out. That road could be gated to where traffic would go down River Trail and down River Street. They then would have to enter and exit that area based off of 12th Street across the creek down State Street. But other than that, it's part of the town. Does that answer your question?
I think so.
Okay, I hope so. What's that?
We want the property
Oh,
tax.
we'd like the property tax, even though we don't get much out of 9.7%. The county gets. Also. All right, so I don't believe, I've got my notes here of what Hillary's gonna try to review the committee report, give us a roadmap. She's got some other things that she's looked at that, she'll give us some feedback on. And I think that's where we stand until we get some of that input as to what direction we'll go. The rest of the board agree with that?
Yep.
Yes. Okay,
Yes, sir.
all right, thank you, Jerry. All right, so that's gonna leave 9-6 for now. Takes us on to 9-7. And that is an executive session pursuant to CRS 24-6-402 4P to hold a conference with the town attorney for the purpose of receiving legal advice on a specific legal question of restoring the platted location of a town right of way. So at this time, the board members and the attorney will go back to the kitchen and have an executive session with our town attorney for legal advice.
We need a motion and a vote.
Nope. They
I'll get that. There's some very
I didn't
specific
get down to language.
language.
So if you need a motion and a second to enter the executive section, I'll make the motion. I move, we go into the following executive session pursuant CRS 24-6-402 4B to hold a conference with the town attorney for the purpose of receiving legal advice on the specific legal question of restoring the platted location of town right of way.
I'll second that motion.
All right, all in favor of the motion to go to executive session, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
I,
What are you gonna do to juror? She's gonna call you.
I have a question, please, before you leave.
Okay,
I want to check with the attorney and is it okay now if my husband stays in this room on camera, so you know he's here, I will be in an adjoining room and could call in? Is that appropriate or legal, or do I need to totally stay out?
No, you may come in if you can ensure that you're the only one participating.
Yes, and Jess will sit here in front of the camera, so you, because he and I are the only two people here.
Yeah.
And I'll go to an adjoining room with the door closed?
Yep,
Okay, thank you.
that works.
I'll be calling, whose phone shall I call?
You can call mine, Jera. I think I should have service.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'll
yeah,
call
yeah.
Corey's phone then, and I will be adjourning to another room.
Yeah.
all right, we're gonna go to the backs.
Got your reporter.
They're getting legal advice on restoring the platted location of the town right of way. That's all I know.
Not within the plat of the city. The attorney and and it was left based on the nice materials of the town, because of the historic use of the street as it's driven by most people, that's life, that's become a town property.
Even if we still place property.
Right.
And the statute goes through for 18 years, it can be objected, and it can be done.
Well,
I'm being
ejected.
I'm 13. So, and
Oh, record, the problem.
It's the attorney's first name. Hillary. What? Hillary. Stacy, and I thought, can't be two Stacy's up there. No, no, that would be. Thank you. Yeah, of course. Yes, just me.
Because I knew about that, counting the streets and all that, and she knew it too, and she knew it was cloudy. And that never includes. So what I'm saying is, for knowledge is.
Stacy, this is Jess. Just for your information, I don't think they documented what time they went into executive session, did they?
No, nobody said that out loud. But I actually sent a text right as they were walking back, so I can put in the minutes what time that was.
Yes, I think that'd be advisable because they'll also tell us when they come out. Thank you. I'll mute myself again.
Thank you, Jess James. Appreciate you.
Well, appreciate you. Later.
Later.
There's a lot. I read it. But and so it made me feel that I read these laws, and she pretty much agreed with how I understood it or interpreted it. So that I mean, it wasn't maybe, you know, we have a straight shooter here. This is nice. It's pretty good. It's hard. And now it's easy, but it was those nights girl, she's super. But I'll bring this along. Give me some. I mean, I never like to sit with that food. The way I can kind of send it. Kind of send it. You're kind of send it. Okay. Education. How do you spell that? I know, I'm not an English teacher. It's certainly bad. Is it? That's fine. Instead of like kids. Yeah, because you like the kind of things. Yeah. And
Study could easy up.
Yeah. Yeah. I've been knitting since I was there. There you go.
Wow.
She never taught me.
I think you're out doing.
You taught her to learn time flies with issues.
You did. I don't do it much, but I start to do it. It seems I do, but you should that. Does anyone have a pellet stove here? No one has a pellet stove. No, you're all wood burning people. There used to be a pellet stove in the back of the. No, I just what I know some people about pellet stoves and I wanted to know their opinion. I don't. Okay. It was in there.
All I know about them. And I think the pellets, you know, I hate to get it to the point of what to do. Yeah, pellets. And they're very expensive.
Yeah. No, we're just. So.
Mike's often, you're talking.
Oh, Mike does? Okay, I'll go look at this then.
I think they're leaving.
Oh, they're reading. What are they? Next day? I'm pretty sure the people around here.
Josh Over's got one too.
Josh is on the zoning board, right?
Works at hotel store.
Oh, John.
Works at hotel.
I know John. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think this subdivision ever gonna happen. Vacating the streets down. Just giving the guy that much extra property. But hey, man. And you turn on it.
Forwarded an email to you that has the policy the town council adopted on right-of-way vacation.
Okay,
That I think you ought to provide to her.
okay.
I don't know if you have it or not, but.
I've got the snow removal one right
No,
here.
Yeah, no, it's,
Okay. Let me.
I sent it to you in email. It looks like this.
Okay.
And it was adopted.
Okay.
Well, I'm not real sure I know when it was adopted. But I'll look real quick and see. It's in the minutes. It was adopted by a motion, and I don't know if I've got the date. I think it was
I'll find you. I'll look right now.
maybe in 23. Back when the Archulettas requested their vacation, and that's what triggered the whole deal.
I gotcha. All right, let me look here.
Hey, what is it?
The map just got on it, yeah.
Okay. I still let you do this weekend. She drove me Kansas. Yeah. It's just, I went to 5 or 7. I went to about 5 or 6 these times. Wow, it was the best.
I got a friend, he ended up happening to him. I don't have one girlfriend, so I think. And he was working on a patient doing something, talking to him. Things with daughter, and she was like, she was in the. They got married in 3 weeks. They did together like 15 years. They're perfect for each other. Yeah, it was just.
No.
And once in a while, he was. I'm saying he was. I mean, it had like cut out some characters and stuff everywhere.
Yeah. They have a lot in common. They watched them have a kid like she has a sister. Or about 15 years. Yeah, very good. You know, sports driven totally. She was just curious. He had 5 kids. One at a time. The jokes on them when they're 5 I joked about it. But she's very, I mean, I was very busy signing it. It was lots of pretty much 500 which is weird. But, so I was really, model. But for the educators by her. I think I make it was the educated, it's not really. Where is this? I'm sure there were 4 toys for the two toys. Oh, the ones. I don't know how many.
Would you go to the house and dollar?
Yeah, yeah. Well, darn, it's very expensive. I have heard this one. I mean, his parents built a house there. And so, you know, they'll give them, you know, $2 a pound kind of thing. And so that one. But she's a paralegal. She can work from home part-time, I would say. And then she's a multitasker. She's like,
Allen County, which is 40 miles from Topeka. Allen County, Allen County.
okay.
What was it? It's close to Topeka. What was the name of the town? Allen. It's basically like Ohio City or less. Yeah. It just, by name. Yeah.
So the kids will have to go to the school bus.
Or. Well, she likes humidity, your daughter.
You know what, she likes the sands, I'm really awful. So, yeah. Love comfort all. And not humidity. So, you know what, cool, I think it's what Harold get real fully. I get a cut shorter. I don't know if she likes it. She never fixes it. Yeah, I call somebody else who's super curly hair and she just takes her shower and just goes like this and it looks like somebody just did her hair. That's what curly hair kind of. Is it like toward? It's right between, it's between Kansas City and Phillips. Oh, okay, so it's kind of going over the city. I learned how to be trusted with it. Okay.
It's straight east of Cal's.
It's.
Straight east of Cal's. That's actually my wife's neck of the woods. So here's the Mary Boomer she grew up. Your wife grew up. No, she grew up in Alma, Kansas. You do north, if you can't get to the now, unless you go east away is the north. But southeast.
Yeah.
Most of those things too.
We were born in it.
What?
We were born in your sister and we talked them in. I don't see it why Benson gets so much of the property taxes when we pay this. And they try to fix our street coming to take it. And you start thinking, where is that? Exactly.
The county has responsibility for property output. City limits.
And it doesn't seem right. I see.
Well, they've got a plan.
They do. Well, they turn it.
Well, they're gonna go to the voters. Sales tax increase or the property tax increase. The fund $35 million for the road to discuss the county, including improving the highway, civil, highway. But again,
Okay, play really well, their total project.
Maybe they didn't. It's a million miles.
Yeah.
The county guys. When people kind of shoot.
The highway 50, it was bottom of the hill. That thing is awfully rough. We're talking a lot of. Even the one here. Oh, there.
Came up and said, if anyone started, have to be really careful when they have a tasting scandal, because they don't shake them up so much. If they hear them worse than the way down.
Oh, yeah. I look at that.
If they have to fly them out of here, then they can. Right, staff, they should be able to. Because of that room, you know, it's a good, they're like it, you know, sometimes I'm sure. We had a moving company. Somebody came up there, I was asking, so it's not like we like deliveries. No, this street in here.
That's what worked. We had no problem with water.
Yeah. And I'm just used to it being bumpy. You know, and then driving in the middle of the road, so we're not. Yeah. But you gotta get it. For that thing, I think it's. Here, discussion.
Well, you go around the corner and then, I need, that I need. I need some. People with big trucks coming around and. Yes. No, it's not yours.
You gotta do, like, I'm in the conversation, I don't know, would you, at least on the code, if you do that. I don't mind.
Yeah, I mean, it's straight away.
Yeah, I knew that. So I'll explore it, but cruise control. At the right speed, I go a little low.
Yeah. And I think it's on past that tree.
Yeah.
That tree. And that big tree.
Last year, he comes back, and he, you know, well, right, bottom end of the straightaway, right after the service, it came around and. So when you come out of the way, you got a ticket.
That river was such a.
Usually stop and think.
Well, it's intended driving.
We have been walking away. Our phone for the, they would have a clear process.
As loud as it goes.
You know, 20, 30, you're walking over. Here's the driver.
I didn't know she. Really, if the majority of the police officers are very nice, very kind.
This guy was a saint. Sitting on the guns and out, the saint.
Stand.
She's probably back to them come up here and see.
I'm just gonna get into that. Not really worried. I'm in charge of this thing. We are. You really want
I've got a little bit of complimentary that we're here working free. Yeah. That was. No too big for this.
Yes, the fire was kind of around. And she went on that first time.
No.
We called in.
Next person, let's see.
Oh, okay.
Luckily, he couldn't do it himself, so.
That's
So
true.
he drove back up. In Tom's house when he first started doing the service,
Yeah.
he made the call and just made it and said he first.
So it might not have been off, but if the other person's still around, I would. Yeah, but she produced it, test it.
She is, she, I could say we're going next.
Um,
That's your junior meetings and you've gone this far.
Well, it sounds like discrimination there. Okay, but they didn't really listen.
It was really stupid. Pretty much underground with the water. She got a new car. Yes. She got a new car. She got a drive there.
John pretty much that.
Whatever. She was sick of it. Farms. It was amazing. It was she figured out that for as little as long, but she wanted it.
Well, it's a kid they don't know the boot. They don't know the lyrics.
Sounds like it's getting kind of hot. Yeah. Some kind of decision. This is right.
I've seen this name.
Mhm.
This name's a good person. And that this child has some time. Even though we didn't hear it. I don't see them.
You should be one thing, children. You should say, you should use no. Students and which is maybe.
Well, anyway. It's very strange, but this, I said, yeah, and I looked at that's, it's not independent anymore.
He's state true.
Oh, did you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Charity says. Pretty cool. She carries down this is an icon. This is to keep on the yeah.
We'll get pizza.
They're scary sleeping there. So will we know when they're doing this over there?
Well, when I went to, it was toward the beginning and I think it was a fireman, do the wood fire. I think we had a- The bright reflected, like that. So I don't. Anyway, yeah. I wonder if they would do wood fire. But it's cold.
I can't, it has to be.
Well, they do now?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was looking at it, thinking.
They might be people. They're listening to it, it's just to be. Sure. Well, should have.
This summer we've been back and forth, so much. This is Littleton and back, and it's been crazy.
We're thinking of 25, given the groceries that we have. For one place is Pitkin. No.
He's asking about paint, so. That's why you're asking about paint.
Yeah. I need a little proposal. But, it'd be nice, build something else, and put it on live, and just look at. I want to see if that really, I'm going to see one of vinegar. I need to push the bias. So I'm planning to.
I did use one in the back apartment of this. Women's office.
They have some pretty expensive ones, but I want to figure out what sponsor has, and see if that really. These are good for. Say. 8. Well, keep it.
That's not cheap. 35.
$8?
Yeah.
It's the $8. So it is. They're not here for the whole winter. I need to ask, because we have old ones, so we're working this old. I mean, and I was told the pilots just. Holiday. Yeah. I'm gonna verify it, that's what they're saying. And then, when they said, I'll know you don't refill it, you don't have to, you know. Fill all day. So, I mean, that's stuff I do. Right, I'm working on it. One for, yeah. So what you guys have? You did that one? Yeah. Good for you. Good for you.
Went underneath the house and stapled up all the Thanksgiving and stuff and put it on.
No, you actually.
But I didn't.
It's so good, yeah.
Right. I just.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, for 20 years, they just did it on. Yeah, I got a call in the middle of the night because I was willing to policy that my power's out or something, and I. It's kids, and it was like, oh, you know, after the board. And I'm like, I learned something. And then the picture me, I learned this. 36 maybe, and moved on. Yeah, but we keep it up.
And so then I went on the app and it said, oh, you're at 12%. The next one I said, you are 0%. And yeah, we still had like 6 weeks to. Anyway, and even though we got to stay out in the trailer for a week because before they could get out there, it was so cold when we got there in May.
They didn't, they couldn't come and give us somebody there, open up.
And
that was very sad. So they couldn't come out and do the guy. You get some.
No, but they have to.
They have to.
It's a week. They said. Yeah, but it's if it's a 0, they're looking seriously. Fine. You know, so we had it. And we talked about it all the time.
Yeah.
But you know, yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, it's
just angry. Put a new tank in there.
Yeah, we can't do that. It's very.
Are y'all nervous?
Yeah.
Yeah. So. My husband was looking for the brand, which I might really get. I didn't want to take time for it. Oh, we have a method. We have propane, and we have what the beige to know. It's just because we added on the house and that. But then we had propane.
No, but that.
Fireplace, just start fireplace.
That's like that. No.
And then we got a lamp. The lamp looks nice, freezing cold, turn it out, it heats it up, but you know, and all the don't like it cold, do that. Never. But the Liberty Brewer was.
Then start using the wood for you.
So I don't get cold. That's what I'm thinking. I don't think they're easy. I don't catch myself.
No, this is, you don't pick up the private service. And you're all. That's how I do it all with it.
And you don't have to pay for a permit, right? It doesn't cost that much at all, You do all the time. It's a good workout.
Yeah, every summer. We got one song.
Is that it? Is that it?
Yeah. You know, I don't know. Started out 4 months. Yeah, split it. Yeah, split it. Something along there, again, morning. He disappeared. I was watching the end of the Texas football league. Oh, man, they didn't leave that back there, the room was split, put my wood for them.
Nice son-in-law.
Yeah. It's funny. That's good heat though.
It is the best.
Oh, and the smell, it's nice. Is it funny? Yeah, I know. I'm pretty good.
Well, kind of constant mess, too, you know, get yelled at. You believe your problem check as well.
I'm with
You say we live in the mountains, we look outside. But
It's a mess.
it is. We had appropriate heat, so we're fine. Yeah, it was under the condition of put a wood burner in there. Like that. Yeah. Good reason.
Well, there's something with the slaves, one that's supposed to really. So it calms you down. Yeah.
I'll try that on my wife, but try to be better.
Hey.
So that was, looks like.
Yeah.
But that was I was up in Minnesota and I had surgery at Mayo. So that 2 weeks to get through. And she fed me the right food and all this stuff. And he really worked every morning. And you just never know. But we started playing for you. And we had good day good. That's when I took that.
Yeah, that's it. The electric propane is nice. I do what they call the power stoves and give you a better flavor.
Henry, you guys hunting? No. I gave it up. You did? You gave it for a minute? No, yeah, just. I'm not. That's fishing. Probably taking fishing 5 years. Last year I had a $300 fishing expedition on the Taylor River. I slipped. Got wet in my little carrot building fishing hat I had for 20 years was down the river. Got back on the bank, taking my wader. Well, my hair goes just off. So
that's fine. What do you expect?
I don't know, I had to do that.
Did you get this?
Oh, did I get it? I had not to, but I was going. That's in the best place in the river belongs. That's where I was at. Underwater. No.
Okay. This one, your inclusion area. I thought we paid for 5 of the, but that's what it.
So it's valid.
You guys, it's time for my dogs to see me again. I think I'm just gonna get up on the meeting and turn it on when I get. This is yours, right? You want this too?
Yeah.
Okay. She's home.
longer, but stair has. I think that's everything. Trying to fix on the T, whatever they're talking about.
Everybody enjoy out and listen to me. I was, my mom, I didn't my thing. I was through the, I had to that's like. Yeah. You won't get near it. Think they're still alive?
Where many horses?
They all left. Definitely.
Yeah, they might be. It's even. We all agree instantly that I. But then you something about the city go back out this thing, so we missed it, like we followed. There you go.
This house. See, it really, it's very idiot. My mother just passed away. So, it's off. So, you know, dealing with that. But it might have been a good thing anyway, just to get away from work. Just calm down to the back of the. It was my first and hopefully last.
Look, somebody's going for.
We're assuming a huge bill company. On the market. It was kind of good as one of the owners. I mean, had a girlfriend and he took her girlfriend. I mean, when I never see this, I was like, I didn't get into. It's all, it's true. So. My partially go back to the influence of the best shop. But not
So.
This is embarrassing.
Yeah, it was just. He had like 3 parking. I mean, it was just. This was gonna be his, like, if he got moved to the Marines, he was going for. So he was fighting. But it was, I mean. They caught him. He wrote 100 pounds of methamphetamine. They caught him with all kinds of stuff. Cash. He was one. Reading about. See.
It's like one, but see, the last name's A, so I get all the. The hair is a. My last name. You could have been smarter, you know, you know, how much to require, but I should have said, what, remember, but then it brought me back to my mom, so I just went.
She said next time just you know, that we were really sure if somebody got this.
Crazy. Corporation. Sweet, I guess I'm going to. Huge corporation. Why is this going? Yeah. It was pretty much covered on the side.
Move.
The mother was there, I think, the name was not going to be. There's just sad and neat and such a. The kid was 20 minutes, so we're not talking anything. Oh, we already have a mission, you're going, you're gonna learn it. Yeah, you're maybe I'm finally getting held up from teaching all those years, I can't get my brain back. See, so. Yeah. Well, you know, we have, when we're responsible about 125 kids, your mind goes on. I'm still in black. Still going. I always said, maybe I will sort of suggest you, it's, let's see. Maybe I'm sure I'll check it tomorrow. So maybe then. Yes, retired. And I don't. And we're so gone in house and everything. I've been so busy. I haven't gone. I've been used. But I haven't been sad at all. She did it just that I know I enjoy it. Like certain
Yeah.
We thought you guys snuck out.
Yeah. Chairs up.
So for the record, any person who participated in executive session believes that any substantial discussion of any matters not included in the motion to go into the executive session occurred during the executive session, or that any action occurred during the executive session in violation of the meetings law, I would ask that you state your concerns for the seeing none, we will move forward with the agenda. So the next item on the agenda is discuss possible action regarding the intersection of Courts Lane and Fifth Street. And I'll begin by opening it up to public comments. If there are any.
This is in regard to the, I guess with the property corner, if you're unfamiliar, right by the bridge by Sarah and Josiah and Chad Barba.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I could not hear what Corey said.
I was just clarifying the location. Same courts and Fifth is not exactly the easiest sometimes. So just clarifying the property around the area to help clarify the location.
It may just be my computer, but I am not hearing Corey very well. Maybe other people can.
I can tell you what he said. He was just clarifying the property at Courts Lane and Fifth Street. The property owners are Josiah and Sarah Gibb, and then across the street is Chadmore. Now, just so we can all mentally locate what we're talking about.
Okay, thank you. Just be sure and talk into the microphones, please.
All right, one last call for public comment. Back up to the board. Discussion.
Sorry. I wasn't, I'll be first thing, I wasn't on the board when this came up here, but this is regarding. However you want to say it, the contention there between, basically Courts Lane and Chad Burnell's property. And I think there was, Chad sought a resolution a few months ago. And, I don't want to say that he didn't reach a resolution. There just doesn't seem to have ever been, in my opinion, some sort of equitable solution. And I've said it before when this came up a few months ago. Yeah, I think all this, and I might have the history wrong, but a lot of this stems from the fact Chad wanted to build a fence. He was unable to build a fence. And we've never clearly defined, if we're going to say that's not your property, we've never defined where your property is. And I've never thought that was right. And I think there's a solution. But just to do nothing is not a solution. So, we basically had to pursue some legal advice on how you can pursue this. And I wasn't part of any of the conversation before, so it's best to understand some options. This is probably a difficult one, just not to get too much into personalities and background, but just it's difficult. But I think trying to put aside personal feelings and do some sort of equitable solution is what the town needs to pursue. And what that looks like, I don't know. It's up to the board as a consensus, but I think the town just to continue to do nothing is not a solution for this. I don't think it's fair to any party involved. Anybody else?
Well, what would you propose as a solution?
Well, I think some of the legal advice, there's several different options. I think the cleanest here that doesn't really negatively impact the neighbors, because I think some of the options are just to say, yep, that's your property, go build the fence in the middle of the road, which I don't think is fair to anybody that uses Courts Lane. I don't think it's fair to Sarah and Josiah. So I think pursuing, I know a land swap was discussed, and I think it was voted against 2-2. I'm open to pursuing that again. I think that's the equitable solution. It's not much square footage. I think it's like 700 square foot. It's essentially, I think what had been talked about, I'd have to look at it, but basically saying, okay, this is the town, right, where the road's at. We understand that we can't just take property from you and say nothing about it. I don't think it's fair. But I want to reach some sort of compromise here. So I'm open to pursuing, revisiting that land swap for whatever reasons that was voted against. But I don't know. In my opinion, that's always been the equitable solution. You're basically giving up something like 5 foot along Fifth Street to fix the town right away issue with the road there. And I feel like that puts all of this behind us. So everybody else can weigh in too. I don't have to be the one to talk on it.
I'm waiting. Jared, do you have any comments you want to share?
Yes, I do. My opinion has not changed from several months ago when this was addressed, and I suggested my question to the attorney at that time was, isn't there a win-win situation? You know, an option, a win-win solution. And he said, yes, a land swap, that would be an option. And I haven't changed my opinion in thinking that is a good option for both, for all parties, the town and both of the landowners.
You want to weigh in?
Yeah, this is Tom Gitt, and I will say that this has raised a point of contention between myself and multiple other people's in both directions ever since this happened. And this vote was, as Corey pointed out, it was 2-2. But we're still with it. The situation is still here and it's still unresolved. So that being said, some sort of resolution is needed.
Okay, Mike. We've seen this issue go on for quite a while. When someone asks to get a building permit to put up a fence and it's denied because we can't definitely say where the property line is because it is, we've had some road creep, we'll call it, by people going around a tree and a bridge that has caused the road creep. I've always maintained that the tree probably should have been trimmed 20 or 30 years ago, so an issue like this doesn't happen. The tree was not trimmed. Someone took it upon themselves to trim the tree. I will say, because I've been asked, and I've heard that, well, the mayor gave the permission to trim the tree. I will tell you that the mayor told an individual, nothing's going to be done with the tree or the property line until we have legal advice. And then the tree was trimmed. So I will say, I'll be the first to say, I was extremely displeased with someone taking upon themselves to trim a tree from town property, whatever the circumstances are. It wasn't right. I do not believe it's right. I will never believe it's right. But the tree was trimmed. Is it going to resolve the issue? No, it's not going to resolve the issue. But looking at the possible solutions, I would tend to believe with Corey and with Jared that the best solution, the best outcome for the town and all the property owners involved is to adjust that property line so we can establish where the boundary is. And in doing so, we could either do compensation or we could do a land swap. I'm concerned, and we could probably work around that if we just did a compensation for the land, then at some point in time, that property owner, whoever it might be down the road, could be in jeopardy because it falls under the 9,000 square feet. That could be worked around. I do believe that. However, it doesn't make it very clean. I think doing a land swap where we have land available on 5th Street to swap to that property, which would ultimately, I think, help the property owner, whoever it might be in the future or today, and it helps resolve the issue. But I want everybody to know I was not real excited about that tree being trimmed. I have stated over and over, in fact, it was in a presentation that I did, that at some point that tree probably needs to be trimmed up to 12 feet. I've taken a tape measure over there and I've measured that damn tree where it's trimmed up. And 18 feet's a long ways from 12 feet. And I was really disappointed that someone would trim a tree up like that. So if someone's getting a scolding from the mayor, you can call it what you want. But I'll scold even my best friend. I want you to know that. So with that, that's where we're at tonight, I guess, and listening to Corey and to Jared and to Tom. And I think this board is to try to put this whole issue to bed, is to try to do a land swap to where it really doesn't hurt the town. It helps both property owners that are impacted by this whole mess. So that's my thought.
I don't really have anything to add. Like you said, I think you set it up on being displeased. Somebody would take it upon themselves to alleviate a problem on town right away like that with no discussion or anything. And then, I know the town doesn't necessarily have a ordinance against cutting a tree in town, but
Hey.
I think the common sense thing would be at least you have a conversation with town board or something like that. To just take it upon yourself is not the way that things should be done in town. And I think we don't want to get into the appearance of, oh, it's a tit for tat or whatever. I just want people to be responsible, be adults. And that's what I'm hoping that the board can do here. That the board can go, okay, we're going to find a solution. We're going to act like adults, and we're not going to have a tit for tat. We're not going to be, let personality conflicts affect judgment.
So if the board would like, someone could formalize your direction in a motion, directing the mayor to have a conversation with Mr. Varnell. Or if the mayor feels like, if you feel like you know what you're being asked to do, that's sufficient, but up to you guys. You can be more explicit if you would like to be.
Yeah, I don't think it's a bad idea for the board to vote on one way or the other to say, yes, we're interested as a board in this land swap, and we want to discuss further, which I can put this to rest. And that's better, I think, than just saying, well, go do it, in my opinion.
I would agree with Corey.
I think Pete was raising his hand. I don't know if you want to take some more public comment on this. Before we make it.
I didn't see your hand up. But...
I appreciate the council's willingness to try to solve a problem that wasn't a problem until it became a problem. But my question is, what then becomes of the no man's land on the opposite side of the utilized road? And that I guess is a prescriptive easement or whatever. Is that just gonna remain a platted unknown property, or is it gonna be, if you solve a problem for one, are you gonna solve a problem for the other and grant that land to the property on the other side?
Can you clarify what you said?
Well, there's a platted right of way. The road doesn't follow it. The road wanders to the northeast, I guess. So on the east side of that utilized road, between the edge of what is the recognized road and the street right-of-way line, there is some unutilized property what becomes of that? In my opinion, if you're gonna take care of one person on one side of the road, maybe you ought to take care of the other person and grant them that land. And that way that settles once and for all. Here's the road. Everything on the east side belongs to this property, everything on the west side belongs to the other. That's just my opinion.
We have an online comment. Roger Lowell.
Go ahead, Roger.
Okay, before we start giving away streets and alleys or anything else, town of Pitkin needs to survey their streets and alleys, blocks and lots. It's never been done. The only survey pins ever set in the town of Pitkin are the four corners. And guess what? They screwed that up. Town is 47 feet longer than it's supposed to be. People measuring from the north, people measuring from the south, meet in the middle with a 47-foot discrepancy. I'm not real sure where the town thinks that it's going to give away anything without a property description. So you're gonna end up spending $500,000 for a survey for the town before you can do this. That's basically the story I've got. I don't know how you expect to measure off what when the town does not have pins properly set identifying its lots and blocks. We're relying on surveyors that are guessing for the most part. So, I mean, that's my feeling is you could probably give away streets, and alleys to everybody that's got a problem in town. That stupid river that runs through town screws up just about 100 lots right there. 100 out of 9,000 isn't really, really big deal, I guess. But yeah, we got issues. But to solve them, we're going to have to spend some money, do it right. That's my feeling about it.
Thank you, Roger.
Tell us what he said.
Summarize.
I don't know. Summarize. All right, any further board discussion up here? I guess I would like to see a motion and a second on specifically what direction we go.
I'll make a motion to direct Ed to discuss or open discussions again regarding the land swap at Pitkin Court Side.
This is Jara, and I'll second it.
All right, so we've got a motion and a second that as mayor, I will discuss the land swap. Swap. We'll get Chad Darnell. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Try to do that in the next day or so.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes,
I did not hear the vote count.
Unanimous, 4-0.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So keep things moving because we're getting late. Updates for planning discussion. Which one do we want to attack first?
Mr. Mayor, I would suggest we set some work session dates.
Yep.
And leave it till then.
Oh,
No, let's hammer it out tonight.
No. Do we?
I'm on the wrong section.
No, all I want to do is pick which one do we want to start on? And then set the work session. That's, you thought I was gonna work more on this tonight, huh?
I'm gonna speak pretty quick.
Go.
I feel like OWTS is gonna be the easiest to do. Yeah, so. And. If it's anything like previous year, essentially going through boxes. And it's just drastically changed. But I will be the person that I have not reviewed. But I think that's gonna be our quickest one.
What I was told from our new WTS coordinator at the state is that it's more of some numbers change that we need to just go through the box.
Yeah, that's a lot. When they updated last time, I remember it basically being, here's all the decisions you need to make, whether you allow or disallow numbers.
There's a couple things that we could talk about.
Yeah, there might be some.
I think that's gonna be the easiest to hammer out.
So let's do this for the OWTS update. We're in September. What's availability for either the rest of September or the first part of October?
I don't wanna do it on Friday night, Saturday night, or Sunday night.
I don't need. Or Monday night or two. I will say I've got family coming in on the week of the 29th. They're coming on the 28th, leaving on Saturday. 13 years, we finally got one of our sons decided to come to it.
I'm out the whole the 8th.
Okay,
October.
so. we're looking at possibly next week or October 6th.
What day next week could we pull that up?
I'm wide open.
Me too.
Jared?
Did you say October 6th?
No, next week, you're still gone next week?
Yes.
Well,
Well, I'm gone what are you, I'm gone all of this week for sure. What date were you looking at?
Sometime next week, the week of the 22nd.
Yes, I should be able to do that.
Any night better than another? For anyone?
No, it would probably be better for me though if it was not before Tuesday night, the 23rd.
About Wednesday night, the 24th, is that?
Yes.
Does that work for Stacy, you're in the mix too?
As far as I know.
Who's me?
All right. So
And I somewhat related, Hillary, can you have us some sort of advice on that by then? I'll be, like I said, I have not looked at it, so I'm not sure if there's just some decision points we need to make or if it's more in depth than that.
Yeah, probably. So I would need the current OWTS ordinance and then proposed changes.
I didn't hear that.
And then, yeah, I can
Yeah, I just,
some of this.
it's been years since I've gone through this, but just having kind of a summary of our decision points or. And maybe that's already pre-existing, so the coordinator at the state, maybe he could define it.
It's it's kind of like check the boxes, and we already checked it once before, which is how we got our ordinances. There's a few things in there that we might tweak or change a bit, but it's not going to be difficult. So I don't feel.
And I
I don't
received,
think it'll take much review.
I've got an email from both sides from the state that shows the boxes. I believe I've got to look. I think he sent me the one that was done previously. So.
Okay, yeah, if you can
Oh.
forward me all that, I can turn it around.
Star. Okay, so do we want to set a second one? Or do we want to handle the OWTS first? Get through that and then set another. Okay.
Well, I guess the only thing I want to have some idea of like, if the 2021 energy code and wildlife resiliency code and the whole mouthful of word vomit there, have some sort of summary of like, what are the decision points that we have to make? There's if it's like most things with the state, they're gonna tell you, you have to do X, Y, and Z, and you get to make decisions on it. And just understand that, and understand, I think it's key to getting through these efficiently and not sitting months on months, passionate. And like I said, I don't know, I haven't looked at these yet, but it made it simple. It may not get much more complex than the code, resiliency code. So.
I'm not hearing enough of Corey to know what he's saying, and he doesn't have to repeat necessarily, just so I don't miss out on dates, please. Have you set October 24th?
September 24th.
I'm sorry, September 24th. Okay.
I understand there's 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll do some more digging on the energy code and the wildfire resiliency code. I can't remember. I don't remember at this point what I've gotten emailed to me and what I haven't.
Yeah, and I know that I know I've looked at both of those state mandates and provided advice to other municipalities, so I can dig that up and provide you what we have thus far. There are gonna be certain customization type questions that the town will need to answer related to enforcement and things they want to delete or add, so. But I can give you some sort of baseline.
Yes. Here's the summary of all the decisions to make and implement it, and give a little easier process versus trying to read through the whole thing and understand it.
Okay, so I think we're set on the first one. We'll set the other one, the next one's at the later date after we get through the WPF. Okay. All right, we'll leave update planning discussion alone. Just a couple of things on reports. I had some mayor thoughts that I wanted to share. Given the hour that we're in, I'm going to share them, but I'll probably share them in October. All right. But I definitely want people to hear them. Share them tonight, but it's getting too late. I do want to give an update because John Wise had asked me about this too. 2 months ago, I think I contacted the Forest Service with their coming out to give us a presentation on interest that we might have in thinning trees and brush in the areas adjacent to resident properties. The last communication that I had from the gal from the Forest Service was she was still awaiting approval to travel. There was a question that was brought up. I think Susie left. Maybe she's still online. But she brought up the question about proof of insurance for variances. I did, and just to give you a quick overview, and this is more for Hillary too. The proof of insurance, we've had some variances in the past where perhaps I'll use the hotel as an example. That's one of them, where the porch comes out onto town property. And in some of those cases, the variances stated that we would require the property owner to provide proof of insurance annually to make sure that the property owner held insurance on that for liability reasons. I did contact Thurston. I'm getting tired too. I contacted Sursa. I talked to, before we had Hillary on board, I talked to their leading counsel for Sursa, and his take for Sursa, for insurance reasons for the town, is that we did not need the insurance, proof of insurance for Sursa. However, he said, I would recommend you ask your town attorney once you have one on board. So I guess the question is, if we have variances where something came out on the town property, should we require annually insurance for those properties?
You certainly could. If there's not a mechanism to check that annually though, then maybe we want to consider not imposing that as a requirement. I don't think it gets the town a whole lot. I'm kind of with Sursa on this. And I would think most businesses would want themselves insured from property liability standards. So I guess I question having the requirement.
Okay, so I will say that we don't have a mechanism for checking it. That's why it's come up. It hasn't been checked for a number of years that I'm aware of. And I'm not even certain, without going through variances back in years, of what those properties all entail. So would be very cumbersome to figure out. I think it would be very time consuming for a town clerk to go through a lot of minutes.
I mean, maybe next time a variance comes up, we consider whether we add that as a condition or not. Just kind of clean us going forward.
All right. Okay. And then that's all I would have under mayor reports. I do have one on Tom on the 622 State Street. Just a question on that one. I know we had text going back and forth this morning. On that one, on that addition for the bathroom, looks like it's a crawl space. I'm a bit concerned of the distance of the leach field to the actual stem wall. Supposed to, according to Reg 43, it's supposed to be 20 feet. I don't know how we could get verification of where that leach field actually was, so we know that we're okay.
When you go look at something where you don't know where things are, you look at where things ought to be. And then when looking at where things ought to be, then there are some indicators that maybe they crowded this way or they crowded that way a little bit. And so by the time you come off of a off of a septic tank, 2 foot down, and then the outlet is another foot down, and run out 60 feet of run, you're multiple feet into the ground with that. It would be a gravity feed system. And so not knowing exactly where that pipe is and expecting to dig a hole 3 or 4 feet in the ground and hit it would require a quite large hole. And so I have to evaluate what I see and what I measure and what shows up, just mainly in the topography and how things lay. So in doing that, I measured off the property line, from the property line to the stem wall or the footing, and then there'll be a stem wall. And so for future reference, should that soil treatment area ever fail and need to be replaced, is there room to put another one in there? And the answer is yes. It would be a bit tight with, you get 10 foot of setback and 12 foot of 20 foot. It would fit in there. So if I am off a little bit on where I guess that the first lateral line run. That lateral line is running probably deeper than a footer on this thing we're building. So, the indications as I read them were that they were, pretty close, but that they were okay. Your concern that we would dig a hole to find it, I find that, rather impractical for the sake of a foot or even two. Well, let's say that distance that's supposed to be 20 foot turns out to be actually 18, but that pipe's already lower than the footers. And given the topography, what lies there, that ground comes and then drops off precipitously about 4 foot against the fence there against Mr. Adams' place. And so when you read the code there, it says 20 foot to anything, with a crawl space, or anything with a, what do you call that, perforated pipe drain?
Unlined soil treatment, unlined soil treatment area.
Well, no, just a drain around your.
French
Just a drain. Because, on a level playing field, on a level surface, everything migrates in a level direction. This is not a level playing field or a level surface, and everything's gonna migrate downhill. So all that's taken into account. My best guess is that this is just fine, and if they ever have to replace it, there's room to do it. So septic fields do fail. Soil treatment areas fail, and getting one back in there to code, there's room to do it. And my guess is the one that's there is reasonably approximate to what it needs to be. Now, if you wanted to override that, I could require these guys to pull back in to put a second wall in there, make it a slab for 2 more feet before they go to joist. And that would for sure take care of them. But I find that to be kind of pushing it. So there you have it. You know, we don't get to know where everything is, and digging after it is sometimes practical and sometimes impractical, and this I deem to be impractical. So I hold the best guess on it. But the main thing is planning for the future. So that was what that measurement, is there room, if you have to come back and redo this, is there room to redo it in a proper fashion? And the answer is yes.
So one of the main reasons of having a 20-foot setback in a crawl space of the leach field is to make sure that nothing from that leach field migrates into the crawl space.
That's right.
For the homeowners, and it's protection for the homeowners. And I'm concerned if we presume where the field is on this property owner, but the next property owner, we say, nope, gotta be 20 feet. And we've done that already.
We have made someone dig it up to show us.
No, we did not allow someone to move a building so within 20 feet of their leach field from the symbol, because it was concerns in that meeting that the porches of that building would go out up to the leach field. And I was concerned, well, what's the structure of the crawl space or the porch?
Yes, there was that discussion.
And what I don't like is the bending rules for one, but not for the other.
Well, so my 2 options are either let them go dig or think it ought to be and see if it's, or dig upstream from where it ought to be, and then dig down to it till we get to it. Or just have them back off another 2 feet and that's pretty much insured.
Does it have to be a cluster? Or put it in a bathroom, could they do a slab?
They could.
It is slab.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I just wanna make sure that we're fair there.
Yeah, well, that's what I said, I didn't have to do a slam dunk for the first 2 feet, that I was pretty much insured.
Well, I hate to interject here, does the town have a legal liability if we approve or we provide a building inspection on the property to fill setbacks, set by the state?
Probably not.
Liability the town feels in a case like this.
Yeah, I wouldn't view it as a liability so much as you're providing a service to people and you want to be doing that equitably and accurately. So, yeah, I mean, the homeowners are to make sure they are meeting standards.
Is there any other option how to figure out where the field is?
Short of excavating something, no. Not that I know.
I don't know, I don't know if there's anybody that has cameras or GPS that can put down on the thing.
I don't.
I don't want to be the only stickler on this. What's Corey or?
Yeah,
What's your?
like you said, I hate to be the stickler on it too. But you need to be fair across the board to everybody. And I've seen in this town where somebody had to dig up to prove that there was a septic system there that was sized for whatever. It turns out, it was not. You know, it was advertised, say, as a 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom, and what was in the ground was not what was portrayed. And that's my hesitation to just say go for it, because we can make our best estimates, but at the end of the day, is it really there? It just gets back to being fair to everybody. Well, and then that's my worry is that we go, oh well, you know, we estimated, and we're pretty sure, and then we're wrong.
So, okay, so we'll either dig a hole or what?
I just think it's the fair thing is, Jim, let's prove where the field actually is, so we know that we're being that.
Yeah. There's really good, which is got lots of old systems in town that are. And the other thing, and you brought up, this is about down there at the, which side. So in evaluating this, there's also which way is this stuff flowing? When it comes out and hits the ground, which are we on a flat surface? Or we got a downhill run? Which side of the building are we on with this run? Which way is the water going to go? And you can make a pretty good guess at all that stuff. And so yeah, I'm guilty of that. I made a guess and said, you know, it looks to me like this line's probably right here. And then I went over and measured to it and said, well, yeah, that's probably pretty close. And I measured on over to the foot end going, well, yeah, that works. And
I'm assuming this system doesn't have any sort of inspection ports or anything like a more modern system where you can see where the end of the lateral line.
oh no, this is a gravity feed system.
Okay.
Yeah. So just by way of discussion, I don't know how long it's been in. I do know that people pretty much across the board always like to crowd the property lines. And you know, that's just what we do. We get every inch we can there because we don't. So my expectation is that we will probably wind up digging a hole.
Or do the slab.
Hmm?
Or do the slab.
Or do the slab. If I dig a hole and find out it's wrong, then we will do a slab.
You could give the property owner the option.
Yeah. Will do.
Okay, there are the commissioner reports are out there for everyone to see or to read. I don't see anything else on the agenda. Thank goodness. I would entertain a motion if I mean,
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second that motion. All in favor, say aye.
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 Thank you, everyone. Sorry we were so lost.
No, you're not.
There's somebody's.
Days are dying. Days are so. Oh, there's a song right there.